Well, good morning from Milano, Italia. We are here in Italy. It is our first day, so we have gone in search of the Italian breakfast. Now, we weren't entirely sure what an Italian breakfast looks like, so we did a bit of research and asked around, and apparently it's just a coffee and anything sweet. So that could be pastries, bread with jam, cake or cookies. So we've sat down at a little cafe and we're gonna have our first Italian breakfast. Beverage of choice today is the cappuccino because it's a very cold day, and why not have some frothy coffee?
Cold day. When is 15 degrees considered
Look
cold?
Look at the way I'm dressed. I'm cold, okay? Ooh, that's nice. Excellent cappuccino.
Nice and rich and frothy.
Indeed. I'm gonna try some.
So this breakfast reminds me a bit of breakfast in France and also in Argentina. A sweet way to start the day. And I have to say, it's quite a huge contrast and change from what we were used to in England and Ireland, where we were having full savory breakfasts.
With eggs and sausages and mushrooms.
This is lower calories and a lot sweeter. And this pastry here I've selected, I honestly don't really know what it is. What made me select it was I saw walnut bits, and hey, I'm a huge fan of walnuts, so I don't know what's inside. It looks like it might be apple. Let's find out.
I thought it was going to be prunes.
Oh, no, that's like pecan pie. That's pecan filling inside.
Let's see the inside.
Oh, wow, that is so delicious. Oh, it's like having pecan pie.
Pie for breakfast. He's a happy boy.
And what do you have over there?
Well, this is the pastry I chose. It's a little twisty one with chocolate chips. That is real good. It's very buttery and flaky, and you just can't go wrong with chocolate chips this early in the morning. I'm a fan.
So we're going to be here for a week in the Lombardy region, and I can't wait to try as much Italian food as possible. It's one of my favorite cuisines. And last but not least, price point.
Well, this delicious breakfast for two came to €5, and that included 2 cappuccinos and 2 pastries. So, not an expensive way to start the day.
Yeah, talk about value.
Okay guys, so I'm pretty excited about today. We have left Bergamo behind and we're visiting a castle outside in the countryside. It's called Castello di Malpaga, and we are going to be taking a cooking class inside a castle. So I'm gonna get ready to start cooking, and Sam is going to give you a tour of the castle so you can see what it looks like.
So this is a family-owned castle. It dates back to the 13th century. Let me give you a tour.
The first lesson of the day was to focus on dishes that take the longest to prepare, so we got started with dessert, a delicious tiramisu with a modern twist.
More aggressively.
So I'm taking a quick break from the kitchen to tell you today's menu. We are going to be preparing beef tartare as an entree, ravioli for the main course, and then tiramisu for dessert. So it should be very tasty. Let's get back to the kitchen and let's keep cooking.
For our main dish, we prepared ravioli, and because this is Italy, the dough had to be made from scratch. There were no shortcuts here, and everyone was put to work kneading and then rolling out the dough into thin layers. What are we doing over here?
Rolling some pasta. It requires a lot of muscle work, more muscle than I have. Preparing the stuffing was next. We went with a vegetarian option, which was pumpkin. Smashing pumpkins like the band. Oh, so clever.
Once again, we took no shortcuts here. Pumpkins were chopped, peeled and then boiled before being pressed into a paste that we used as our filling.
The last dish of the day was beef tartare. I skipped out since it's not to my taste, but I was told it was very tasty. So we have now finished preparing our 3-course meal and we're going to go have lunch inside the feast hall, which has painted frescoes that are just beautiful. So let's go in.
So far.
It is delicious because I prepared it myself. I hardly did any work actually. The truth comes out. And now that lunch is over, we get to play dress up. Let me lead you around my castle. Of this kingdom. Once we had eaten lunch, it was finally time to tour the castle. A very exciting prospect, especially when you're dressed in Renaissance costumes. We paraded around like kings and queens and then explored the former home of Bartolomeo Colleoni, who was Captain General of the Republic of Venice and earned quite the reputation battling neighboring city-states.
We're kings and queens from around the world, and the winter is coming. Winter is coming.
So I had a lot of fun cooking, eating, and playing king for a day in a castle, but unfortunately, all good things come to an end, and it's time for us to go back to Milan.
Well, good evening from Milan. It is our first full day here and it is now dinner time. So we just found a local little restaurant and we're going to be trying a traditional dish that is very popular in the city and in the Lombardy region. We're going to have Risotto alla Milanese. From Milan so far?
It's been great, especially the food. And every time we go to a restaurant, I'm looking at the menu and I'm like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. So I have a hard time deciding, and I'm not even sure if we're gonna get to cover everything before we leave.
Well, tonight it's risotto.
First impressions of Italian food here in Milan.
It's been really good. This bread I'm having right now is really good actually. I'm already on my 4th slice. I'm a little worried because I may start to get full before the risotto actually arrives. Risotto alla Milanese has arrived, and in case you're not too familiar with risotto, it's basically a type of rice that is very thick, very starchy, and it absorbs a lot of liquids. So this should be good. It almost looks a little bit soupy and creamy. And also, my risotto alla Milanese gets its color from saffron. So saffron is a bit of a reddish-orange color when it's dry, but when you stick it and mix it with the rice, it turns it yellow. So enough about that. Let's
Surprise!
try it.
You like that?
Wow. That is so good. And it's already cheesy. I mean, I know I added a lot of cheese, but I think they had already melted some cheese and mixed it in. So yeah, very cheesy and very buttery.
You can never get too much cheese.
That is so good. You're gonna like this. Is it heaven?
Seriously, that's amazing. Like, risotto might be my new favorite Italian food. It's that
so good.
It is that good. And the thing I like about this one is that it's really plain. Like, I've had other types of risotto and there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of different ingredients, but this is just really simple. You've got your cheese, you've got your saffron. Yum. Now it's 6:20 in the evening and we've basically got the restaurant to ourselves, and that's because locals would never go out to eat this early. This is not even close to dinner time. Thinking more like 8, 9, 10, maybe even 11. That's what time dinner is.
And we can see all the empty chairs right behind you. Judging by your plate, I'm assuming you enjoyed it.
That's an empty plate. It's a happy boy. And the price was also very reasonable, coming in at €7. Great value, excellent meal.
Out for our first Italian aperitivo, which is kind of like a pre-dinner drinking tradition. Basically, get yourself a cocktail for about €10, and that gives you access to this massive buffet like pizzas, pastas, olives, anything you could possibly imagine. And this is what comes before dinner. I was expecting very simple food for the aperitivo. I thought maybe they would just give us some prosciutto, cheese, and olives, you know, pretty cheap, simple food. But instead, what we found was this. So I've got lasagna, I've got ravioli, I have stir-fried veggies, and even French fries, which are not Italian, but I had to grab a few anyway since they were available. So how about you? What did you get for the aperitivo? Give us a tour.
Basically, I got almost exactly the same as you. The main difference being I got a huge slice of pizza, and I think I got some more cold cuts and cheese.
You know what? All the pizza was gone when I went up there. I think you took the last slice.
What can I say?
Alright, so I'm having a Bellini, which is made with peach juice and something else, but I can't tell you what that something else is because I just don't know my cocktails very well. That's good stuff right there.
Sweet?
And it appears you've gone for something a bit more tropical.
Yeah, how can you go wrong with the classic pina colada? Now this looks really thick. I'm hoping that they put a lot of coconut and not too much pineapple juice. It's a pretty decent blend. Yeah, I can really taste the coconut. I like it. So the savory part is over. What have we got now?
Well, it was time for dessert, so I went back for seconds, and they have lots of different cakes. And then this is really good. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but it tastes a bit like a vanilla pudding crossed with custard. I don't know my Italian desserts, but I can tell you it's really good. So I'm not going to share. Okay, so final thoughts on your first aperitivo experience. How was it?
Well, considering we spent several nights in Milan, I can't believe it took us to our final night to actually go and try it. We should have been doing this every night. It's fantastic. You get a really nice cocktail, you get a nice spread of food and dessert too for €10. It's fantastic value. And what did you think of it?
Honestly, for me, that was enough for dinner. It was a lot of food. I mean, it's an open buffet, so technically you can go up as many times as you want, but you don't want to be overdoing it, kind of like Vegas buffet style where you're just like slapping, you know, the food on your plate until you've got a big mountain. That's not how it works over here. But it was really good, really tasty food. I would also recommend coming early. Aperitivo is usually between 6 and 10 p.m. We showed up at like 6:30 and it was already quite packed, so come early, get a table, and there will be more food options as well. From Chiavenna. It is a bit of a rainy morning, but we are still very excited to be here and out exploring because there is a festival taking place here. Today is the day of the Bresaola, and that means that we are celebrating a deli meat, and there's lots of different stands that have been set up across the town, so you can just wander around and sample some deli meat. So we're going to be trying lots of food today. Very exciting. And just to give you a bit of background information, Bresaola is kind of similar to prosciutto, but it's made from beef and it has very little fat. So that's coming up in this video. the map of Chiavenna, and it shows where all the Bresaola tastings are going to be taking place. And there's 14 different spots across the town, so I think we're going to be eating quite a bit. Want to try some? That's really good. Really tasty. We are looking for more meat. Carnivores today. There's only bread available right now, so everyone is waiting patiently while they slice more Bresaola. We've got some more Bresaola.
I think by the end of the day we're going to be suffering from meat sweats.
So good. So good. I mean, I wish I knew how to describe this properly, but it's just good. You need to come to Italy and try it. What else can I say?
Appears to be a bit of a darker meat than what we've tried before, and I'm pairing it with some bread.
One big bite.
Yeah, that's awesome.
More Bresaola, guys. You know, lunchtime is about an hour away, and I feel like I'm just walking around town eating my appetizer. It's pretty nice. First impressions so far?
So what I've been noticing as we've been wandering around is there's a lot of different stands open and selling all kinds of different things. As you can see behind me, there's rugs being sold.
Ooh, so it's not just about the food.
Nope.
Here is very happy, very jovial. There are lots of different bands playing at every square around the town. I just feel bad for the puppies. Some people are walking around with their dogs and they just look a little frightened and startled.
This meat appears to be a bit lighter than the last one I tried. Again, I have the same dark bread. It's so good, I can see why they have a whole festival just based on meat. That's a wrap for us from the festival. I don't think either of us has ever been to a festival that's centered around just one particular food item, but it was really cool, a little bit quirky, and definitely one of the more interesting things we did while in Italy.
But not for vegetarians.
Definitely not. The pleasures of coming to Italy is indulging in the local ice cream known as gelato. Here we've each got 2 cones. I've got the waffle cone over here and Audrey's going to be trying the regular cone. We've got different flavors and we can't wait to try a taste test now.
Okay, so I went for a medium-sized cone with 2 scoops. The first flavor is wild berries. And the second one on top is a bit unusual. It's pear and cheese. I've never had cheese-flavored ice cream before unless it was cheesecake, so should be interesting. Okay, wild berries are really good. One more look. Okay. So that's the pear and cheese. It has real chunks of pear, so it's very fruity. It has a nice strong flavor. And you also taste a hint of cheese. I couldn't tell you what kind of cheese it is, but it's coming through. I'm very happy with the selection. Now tell us about the flavors in your giant waffle cone.
Yeah, so I picked two as well. This one over here is black cherry.
Is that good?
The brain freeze, too big of a bite. Yeah, you can really taste the cherry, it's very strong. And over here is pistachio. And pistachio is awesome. It's one of my favorite ice cream flavors. I think the only one I particularly like more is rum and raisin, but they didn't have that. So, what would be the difference between gelato and regular ice cream that we're used to in North America?
Okay, so there are a few key differences. First up, gelato is churned at a slower rate, so that means it gets less air and then it has a thicker, denser quality. And the second key difference is that gelato has a lower fat content, which means the flavors of the ice cream really come through. So that's why I like gelato a lot better than ice cream.
So gelato is also served at a slightly higher temperature than ice cream, meaning it melts fast, and that is why we're gobbling it down really quickly right now.
Yours is already melting.
Sure is. And how about the price point for that delicious little treat we enjoyed?
Okay, so my medium-sized cone was $2.50 and Sam's was $3.50, and those prices are in euros. And also, a gelato is really easy to find in just about any city. Just as we were walking down the street, we came across maybe like 4 or 5 different shops. So try it out next time you're in Italy. So it is lunchtime here in Milan, and we figured why not have pizza when in Italy? I've only had pizza once the whole time I've been here, and it was time to try a few others. So we've been walking around the city, and we walked by this one shop, and we saw they had like these extra thick slices of pizza. It almost looked like a focaccia bread with toppings. So we went in there and grabbed 2 slices. What did you get for yourself?
So I got the one that had salami and mozzarella, and this reminds me a lot of the pizza I had in Buenos Aires in Argentina. These massive thick slices that you would just go into a shop and order, and I think this is going to be delicious.
Ooh, time for the first bite. And I like that it's already been pre-sliced into small little pieces for us.
That's
Perfect
really
for
good.
lunch at the park. Tasty?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, gooey cheese? Oh yeah.
I don't even have anything to say. Did you get on yours?
Okay, so mine has what I believe is mozzarella and some small tomatoes and basil leaves, so it looks really good. And I was asking the guy who served our pizza, you know, like what kind of pizza is it? What style is it? And he called it pizza al trancio, and I looked that up, and it basically means pizza by the piece or pizza by the slice. And as you can see, it's already been pre-sliced into little portions, so it's perfect for, you know, just getting it to go, having lunch at a park or eating it outdoors.
Yeah, we're having it in a park now as it just starts to rain.
So time to try this. Looks wonderful. Oh my goodness. Oh.
Is that good?
Oh yeah. So the dough, I mean, it's really thick, but it also has a bit of a fluffy quality to it. And that is like a thick layer of cheese as well. Like, that's a generous amount of cheese. Check this out. Look at all that cheese.
Kind of reminds me of Chicago deep dish style as well.
So the only other slice of pizza we've had in Milan so far was the super, super thin slice of pizza. How does this over here compare?
Well, you can never go wrong with pizza as far as I'm concerned, but if I had to choose one of the two, I would go with the thicker pizza. I just love the thick dough and the generous amount of cheese. That is just unbelievable.
And you're getting more bang for your bucks. It's more food, technically.
Yeah, that's true. And how much did those 2 slices of pizza cost?
Okay, so that was €7 total for the 2 slices, so about $3.50 each. Not bad for such a giant slice of pizza, I'd say. afternoon from the city of Bergamo. Today we took a day trip from Milan. We rode the train for less than an hour and we arrived at a completely new destination. So we've been exploring the town of Bergamo, and we also learned that there's a dessert that is very popular in this city, and that's what I have right here. This right here is called Polenta Usa. And polenta is made from corn. It's kind of like a finely ground corn or maize. And it's usually served in savory dishes with like a tomato sauce or some type of other sauce. But it's been turned into a dessert here. So we're having sweet polenta. And apparently the name, it means a bird. Osei is meant to be bird in the local dialect. So yeah, bird polenta. That's what we're having today.
Time to take a bite. Bird polenta. It's supposed to be really sweet, is it?
I wonder if it's just polenta on the exterior, because look at the inside. It almost looks a little bit like cake. So I wonder if it's just the yellow coating that's the polenta. I'm not entirely sure.
And is it sweet?
Oh, very sweet, very sugary. I mean, you can see the granulated sugar on the outside. Super sweet. But yeah, it's a completely new dessert for me. I'm gonna give it a try.
And it's unique to here.
We later discovered that the reason it tasted so sweet is because we'd had a lost in translation moment with our guide. The dessert we tried bears the exact same name as a savory polenta dish with a bird cooked inside. The dessert was given this name because from the exterior it looks just like polenta, but when you bite in, it's cake. A little confusing, but nevertheless tasty. Turn to give it a try. Oh, he's making out with it.
Wow. That is
What do you think?
Some kind of sweet.
Some kind of sweet.
It's definitely tasty.
Yeah?
But it's the kind of thing, I don't think I could eat this whole thing. It's too sweet.
It's a little overpowering, isn't it?
It is. You know, I feel quite lucky to have had the opportunity to try this today because we got a recommendation from a local upon arriving, and we had no idea this even existed. Polenta as a dessert?
Who knew? And now I think you should try whatever is on top there.
Do you think that's marzipan?
Some kind of chocolate? I don't know. What is he doing?
No, I think it is.
Yeah?
It's also really sweet. Wow. Getting a bit of a sugar high right now.
You think you can finish all of that?
Is that like a challenge?
Ooh. Does that mean challenge accepted? You try and describe this dessert for someone who's never had it before.
Yeah, it is quite unique. So the outer layer here, you can see it's mostly granulated sugar and polenta. That's probably one of the sweetest parts. And inside it's kind of like a sponge cake with icing filling. And upon further research, it looks like we found a secret chocolate layer in the middle.
Okay, so this is the dessert that keeps on giving, basically.
Yeah, basically.
So in terms of price point, you can pick up this dessert at almost any pastry shop inside the old town. It costs €3, and I found it so sweet that you can probably split it and share with 2 people.